In this video, I want to show you my official pedal boards for 2026. These are setups I actually use, both live and in the studio, and they represent the way I think about guitar tone today. These are not pedals chosen for hype or for collecting, but for how they respond under the fingers, how they work together, and for the versatility they give me in different musical contexts. Let's start with the first pedal board. This first pedal board is inspired by the sound of John Mayer, one of the guitarists who has influenced me the most over the years. The choice to recreate some of his solutions doesn't come from wanting to sound only like John Mayer, but from the fact that I believe his tonal choices are extremely solid and musical. Having this kind of sound under my feet turned out to be an excellent solution, both live and in the studio. The base of the pedal board is a Nux Bumblebee L. I chose it not only for its size and practicality, but also for the raised upper tier, which makes it much easier to access the pedals on the second row. It also allows me to perfectly hide the Chiox power supply underneath, keeping everything clean and tidy. Power is handled by the Chiox Sol, an absolute guarantee in terms of low noise, reliability, and flexibility. It's one of those elements you don't really notice when it works well, but it makes a huge difference in the final result. For the patch cables, I use Evidence Audio solderless cables. They're high quality, very transparent and reliable, perfect for preserving dynamics and detail. The first pedal in the chain is the Keeley Katana. I use it as a clean boost, but it's also the first element of my gain stacking. Combined with the Klon and the TS10, it opens up a huge range of tonal possibilities while keeping everything very controlled and musical. Next in the chain is the Qtron Plus. An important detail here is the 24-volt power supply, which gives the pedal a much deeper, more three-dimensional and responsive sound compared to standard 9 volts. It's one of those pedals that completely changes character when powered correctly. I don't use it only for solos. It works great on rhythm parts as well, where it can act almost like an auto-wah, adding movement and groove without being intrusive. Next up is the Ibanez TS10. An absolute reference for this type of sound. I use it to add mid-range, sustain, and to help the guitar sit perfectly in the mix. After that, we have the Klon Centaur silver version. In my setup, I use it more as an enhancer than as a traditional overdrive. It adds body, presence, and harmonics, and it plays a key role in the gain stacking together with the Katana and the TS10. The combinations between these three pedals allow me to cover a wide range of sounds from light crunch to fuller drive tones, always very dynamic. Moving into ambient effects, we have the Aquapus, a simple, warm, and very musical delay, perfect for slapback and short analog-style delays. The chrono delay is powered at 12 volts. Here again, the higher voltage really makes a difference. The sound is more open, more defined and less compressed than at 9 volts. I use it for longer delays and more present repeats. At the end of the chain, there's the Strymon Flint version 1. I deliberately chose this version instead of the newer ones because I find it more organic and less cold. Reverbs and tremolo that blend perfectly into the sound, never feeling digital. This pedal board represents the perfect balance for me between vintage inspiration and modern practicality. It's a setup that always works in any context, and it has become one of my main tonal references. The second pedal board is a true tribute to vintage tone. It's built around the classic sounds that shaped generations of guitar players. Here, everything revolves around warmth, character, and personality. Once again, the bass is a Nux Bumblebee L, chosen for the raised tier that makes the second row easier to reach and for the ability to hide the power supply underneath the board. Power is handled by the Chiox DC7. Here I needed more outputs and, above all, the flexibility to power multiple pedals at 24 volts. It's a mandatory choice when working with this kind of setup. The first gain pedal is a late 80s Marshall Bluesbreaker, a fully vintage overdrive with an extremely musical character. It never covers the guitar, but enhances touch and dynamics. Next is the Secret EFX1. It's an Italian pedal, very close in philosophy to the Klon. Extremely transparent and always elegant. It's powered at 18 volts, which provides more headroom and a more open sound. My unit is a very special limited edition. The circuit is housed inside a real military box used during World War II. It features large knobs that can be adjusted with your feet and an almost indestructible build. Gain stacking is also fundamental on this pedal board. The Marshall Bluesbreaker and the Secret EFX1 work beautifully together, going from very light crunch to fuller drive sounds, always with great control and natural feel. The Origin Effects Deluxe Tremolo 61 is one of the most beautiful and musical pedals on this board. It faithfully recreates the tremolo found in classic American vintage amplifiers with a very musical saturation. It's deep, three-dimensional and incredibly organic, not just an effect but part of the sound itself. Here we step into history with the Electro Harmonix Polychorus Big Box, powered at 24 volts. It's one of the most iconic modulation pedals ever made. It can move from warm, lush chorus sounds to extreme flanging, all the way to almost psychedelic textures. It became especially famous thanks to players like Kurt Cobain, who used it in a very creative and recognizable way. At the end of the chain, there's another legend, the Electro Harmonix Deluxe Memory Man Big Box, powered at 24 volts. A purely magical sounding analog delay. Echo and chorus blend together in a unique way, creating deep, warm, musical atmospheres. It's a pedal used by historic artists like The Edge, and it's still chosen today for its unmistakable character. This pedal board is a true celebration of vintage tone. Every pedal has a story, a strong identity, and contributes to a sound that never goes out of style. It's a setup that doesn't chase trends but celebrates the foundations of electric guitar tone. The third pedal board is the most modern one of the three. Compared to the others, it's designed to be more compact, more portable, and built around a more contemporary sonic approach without sacrificing character or quality. The bass is a Nux Bumblebee S, the smaller and more compact model. It's the ideal solution when portability and practicality are key, while still keeping everything organized and accessible. Power is handled by the Kiox DC5, compact, reliable, and perfect for this type of pedal board where every bit of space matters. For cabling, I use EBS performance cables on this board. I chose them mainly for space reasons. They're very compact, flexible, and perfect for a small pedal board. The first pedal in the chain is the Soldano SLO, an overdrive with a strong character inspired by one of the most iconic high-gain amplifiers of all time. It delivers a modern, defined sound with plenty of presence and sustain. Next is the Strymon Ultraviolet. This is a vibe, not a phaser. It's inspired by classic Uni-Vibe circuits but brought into a very modern dimension. The result is a deep, three-dimensional effect that adds movement without ever covering the guitar. Then we have the King of Tone, in its classic version. In this setup, one side is set as a boost and the other as an overdrive. The interaction between these two voices is simply magical. Gain stacking plays a crucial role here as well. The King of Tone works perfectly on its own and in combination with the Soldano, allowing very precise and musical gain shaping. One of the most unique pedals on this board is the Ensemble Chorus. It's the Australian version, which I bought directly in Australia, and it's an exact recreation of the legendary CE1. Beyond being extremely pedal-friendly, it hides a lot of clever features inside. Thanks to several internal dip switches, you can modify the original circuit, change impedance, disable the buffer, add depth control to the chorus, and customize the pedal to your needs. It's a chorus that blends vintage soul with modern flexibility. The Strymon EC1 is the main delay on this pedal board. It's a warm echo inspired by the analog world, but with the precision and reliability of modern digital processing. It blends into the sound perfectly, never feeling intrusive. At the end of the chain, there's the Strymon Cloudburst. This is where we step into modern ambient territory. It's a reverb capable of creating wide, cinematic, almost orchestral textures, completely transforming the guitar sound. On this pedal board, the Strymon pedals have a very specific role. They're not just effects, but real creative instruments. Ultraviolet, EC1, and Cloudburst cover three different aspects of sound: movement, space, and atmosphere. They focus on quality, depth, and seamless integration within the musical context. These were my 3 official pedal boards for 2026. 3 different setups, 3 different approaches, but one single philosophy. Always aiming for a sound that is musical, inspiring, and functional. Whether it's vintage tones, classic sounds, or modern ambient textures, the goal is always the same. Having tools under your feet that truly respond to the way you play. If you have questions about any of these pedals, if you'd like deeper demos, or if you want to explore one of these setups in more detail, let me know in the comments. And let me know as well which pedals you're using on your own pedal board. I'm curious to see your setups. See you in the next video.